Good evening. Welcome to the inaugural class, the first Hall of Fame class of Greene County High School. And we're so glad you've made it out tonight. We'll beat the weather and have a good time tonight listening to our Hall of Fame inductees. I'd like to say a few thank yous before we start. First of all, my name is Todd Gordon. I'm in my first year here as Athletic and Activities Director at Greene County, and I'm just so pleased to have you here. This is exactly what we envisioned. It is a full auditorium and able to honor the people that are here tonight, our track team, and then our 4 individuals going into this first class. I would like to thank our Hall of Fame committee who helped in the selection of these individuals. Mavis Sawhill, Rosemary Hoyt, Sid Jones, Doug Reeder, Chad Morton, and Teresa Greene. Thank you very much. If only we had a historian in the crowd. You know, Doug Reeder provides a little bit of history for this great school district, and we appreciate that as well. But thanks to the Hall of Fame committee. Also like to thank my administrative assistant, Misty Betty, who made it look nice and planned everything out front there in the reception. Appreciate her. And then the Ram Restaurant, Brandon Gustav, and the people there that provided the treats tonight. So as you go back out, help yourself. The little Smokies are up for grabs when you get out of here. But I am glad nobody brought in a tray with them and worked on them as you sat here. So tonight we will honor the 2020 class, Greene County Athletic Hall of Fame. We will bring them up. Some are already up here, but we'll bring the track team up in a moment and have them introduce themselves and then have some comments from each of the inductees. Our first inductee is the 1994 Jefferson Scranton girls track team. This group of young ladies and coaches are the only team in school history to win a team state championship when they won the Class 2A state track championship at Drake Stadium in Des Moines in May of 1994. Many of the so-called experts in the state did not expect the Jeffettes to contend for the title. But the Jeffettes dominated the field and won by 24 points over second place Davis County. The Jeffettes scored points in 10 events at a time when points were only given for 6 places at the state track meet. 8 events placed 3rd place or higher, and the Jeffettes won 2 individual titles, led by Chris Kernan in the discus and Allison Drury in the 100-meter dash, and also added to that a relay championship in the 4x100 relay. During this historic season, Jefferson Scranton set 6 school records. 5 of them are still all-time bests for the girls track program 26 years later. The Jeffettes were coached by head coach Mavis Sawhill and assistant coaches Kelly Simpson and Tim Buns. In a moment, we're going to hear from Coach Mavis Sawhill and team members Chris Kernan Hagedorn and Brandy Meineke Peterson. Please welcome back to Greene County High School and into the Athletic Hall of Fame, the only team in school history to win a state championship, the 1994 Jefferson Scranton girls track team. First thing I'm going to have them do is just introduce themselves and kind of where they're at right now. I told them not that you've changed in 26 years, but sometimes we change in 26 years. So let's start, I don't care what order you go, let's just start down on the left end there. There's always somebody that gets to be first. But let's come over to the microphones, and we'll just step to the microphones and tell who you are and where you're at.
I am Tina Walker, and I'm out in Sutherland, Oregon.
I'm Laura Bates Keener, and I'm in Dubuque, Iowa.
I'm Terry Martin Bolin, and I am from the Linville-Sully area.
Paige Thompson, and I've recently come back to Jefferson.
Wendy Lautner Pittman, and I am from Jefferson. Lacey Follett Brubaker, and I'm also back in Jefferson.
My name is Julie Blackburn. I've been living here from Jefferson almost about 30 years ago. I'm an assistant cook at the Greene County High School and almost 11 years.
And I'm Margie McPherson Braun, and I'm in West Des Moines.
Brandy Montague Peterson in Lindstrom, Minnesota.
Chris Kernan Hagedorn, and I live in Adel.
Jessie Betts Riley, and I'm still here.
Jessica Carver, West Des Moines.
Tim Munn, assistant coach, been here 33 years. I'm still above ground. So.
Assistant Coach Kelly Simpson, and I've been here 35, 36 years, and I haven't changed a bit.
And I'm Mavis Sawhill, and I still live here in Jefferson too. I'm not going to tell you how many years. I don't want to say how old I am or anything.
So Brandy and I were the last two to say not it when it came to So we get the duties of representing the track team for this year. Thinking about track, everybody pretty much knows what track is. You've heard of track, but a lot of people don't really know what happens at track, right? You just run. Everybody just runs at track. That was not me. If I run, you can throw. Anyway, you know, there's so many people that hear, oh, you did track. What did you run? I tell everybody I ran distance, and they're like, I don't know if they believe me or just don't know the difference. But you know, there's so many different obscure events in a track meet. Maybe not so much in high school. Pretty much everybody knows what happens at a high school track meet. But you get to the college level in the Olympics, there's things like the steeplechase. Most people don't know what that is, or maybe even heard of it. The hammer throw, it's not really a hammer. The weight throw, you know, things that just sound so obscure and bizarre that people don't really even understand what those things are. Track doesn't draw the crowd like a basketball or a football game. You don't hear people say, hey, are you going to the track meet tonight? Those people that came to the track meet were our parents and our friends and family that came and sat for hours in the stands, oftentimes in miserable weather because it was early in the spring. And they'd sit there for hours and wait for an event that took maybe a minute on a good day, right? Or they'd sit there for hours and wait for their kid or their friend or their family member to compete in one or two events. The year that we competed, the support we had from this community was amazing. We were asked at the time that we were notified that this was happening, what was your favorite memory from that year? I remember coming back from Drake Stadium on a school bus, being escorted by a fire truck and a police car. And this chokes me up every time. And my daughter said, Mom, don't cry, you're going to embarrass me. Sorry. But we were escorted back into town by a fire truck and a police car, and the community was waiting for us. I mean, that's amazing for an event that nobody knows about, or a sport that nobody really pays attention to. And that community, they took us up around the square, sirens going, and the community was up there waiting for us to get back. And that is something I will never remember, or never remember. I'll never forget. I will always remember, never forget. So that support that we had that year was just phenomenal, and I will never forget that. Track could easily become a sport of individual successes. Now, as you heard, we had that year 13 events qualified. Those were individual events, and there's relays as well, but there were individual people that were all working for their goal. But what you gotta understand is all those individuals come together for a team result. And that year, we had our coaches doing a lot of bear crawls then. Because the deal that the coaches made with us, if you win a track meet, we will do bear crawls all the way down the football field. It might have started at 50 yards. But the deal for state was the entire thing. So guess what they got to do in the middle of Drake Stadium? They got to do bear crawls. And it was amazing. And I will never forget that either. And I'm sure there's pictures of that somewhere. You're lucky there were no cell phones around there. That would have been a part of it. I just once again want to thank the community. It was just amazing what was done for us at that time. The community's support for this Hall of Fame. This is awesome that there's so many people here. Just want to thank you. And I think we should end with bear calls.
All right, I was going to go first because Chris normally is more of a cleanup hitter sort of gal, but I echo a lot of what she said and just want to say again, our parents in particular, phenomenal support all through dragging us around to Hershey's track meets when we were second, third, fourth graders, and then I mean, we had parents show up in Vermilion, South Dakota when we go to track meets or all over the place. And so the support of families, and even it is awesome to come back here 25 years later and see so many of our parents in the stands and stands auditorium here still supporting. And I was mentioning to someone ahead of time, they support their grandkids as much as they supported us back in the day. So the constant community support has just been awesome for this. And as far as I've been coaching track for about 15 years now, and I had about 3 of the best here in high school, and as well as Miss Greene, Coach Greene in middle school back in the day. Memories and just a lifetime of fun that we have had with track and field. So thank you for everything, Greene County.
Okay, I got some chicken scratches here. Hopefully I can get through it. I'm just going to take us back 26 years ago. Jeff Bezos launched Amazon.com. He had a dream. Beanie Babies mania began. Boys to Men and Beastie Boys were popular. Forrest Gump, Lion King, Angels in the Outfield were popular movies. Zip drives were launched. O.J. Simpson fled from police in his white Ford Bronco. Major League Baseball season was canceled due to the strike. And the 1994 Jefferson Scranton Jeffette track team won the state championship. This team was a dream team. As coaches, we saw talent, very good talent in throwing, jumping, hurdling, sprinting, and middle and long distance running. We saw these girls mature as athletes from middle school on up through the level they were in high school. Part of this team, it's on the other page, already had achieved numerous conference and district championships and earned events in the state in 1993. As coaches, we wanted more than tying for 11th place with scoring only 14 points in 1993. We knew that we saw the dream of becoming state championships. We, as coaches, had to help these girls pursue that dream during that season, to be the best in every event that they competed in, and then hopefully develop into a state championship. These girls throughout the season had a strong work ethic, a desire to achieve. They had emotional strength to endure lots of things that happened during the season, as well as terrible weather.
and I'll bring one thing up later. They also were able to handle breakups with boyfriends, spats with girlfriends, and they left that off the track. And they had a desire to be a teammate to everyone on the team. We had rabbits sometimes on the team. These rabbits were just as important as the people that they were trying to push to get better. So all the girls on the team are state champions because each girl made the other girl better. Some examples of some of the pursuing the dream. Gallery is a place that we have track meets, and it usually is bad weather of some sort. Some years we have maybe a 90-degree day, but one year the dust storm was so bad. It was in the north field, just north of the track, and the dust was swirling and swirling and swirling. And who lines up to run the 400-meter hurdles? She endured some terrible winds, some terrible dust. You couldn't see her part of the time on that backstretch. And she came around the corner, speeding on those 400 hurdles, and she looked like a raccoon when she was finished. But she gave it her all. Another example. Chris Kernan sometimes got pretty frustrated with Mr. Buns. Towel drill after towel drill after towel drill. Footwork drills. Lots of sprints to make her better. And she did it. She listened to what Coach Buns had to tell her and to try to improve to be that champion. One of the girls that isn't here tonight, Allison Drury, had an injury her junior year. She wasn't able to compete the second day of our competition her junior year. She knew that that injury may occur again her senior year. That's what the doctor said. She drank this black stuff, and I was going to ask her tonight, and I didn't realize she wasn't going to be here, what that black stuff really was. Anybody know what that was? Did any of you ever try it? And she became friends with the exercise bike. Do you remember that? Yeah, she couldn't do a lot of the workouts because we were scared she would have that same injury in her foot at the end of the season. These girls were really good about not complaining that she wasn't out there doing all of that. Her parents also bought some special shoes to go along with that. The girls had and Missy isn't here tonight either, they had a 400 club. Some of these girls ran exceptional 400s. And I think Allison Drury would have been a good 400 runner also, but she didn't really want to do that, and her foot wouldn't let her. But in order to make that 400 a little bit more enjoyable, they decided to have a club. And Missy wanted to be the president of that club. And she was the go-getter for all, and you guys all cheered each other around on those 400s. The handoffs could be grueling at times. These girls worked out. They just were really good with working on handoffs. As coaches, we didn't just watch their handoffs and all that. We looked to see whether or not, who had the personality to be that lead runner, who had the personality in the 4x8 to take the handoff when there are mobs of people around, because between the first and second leg, there usually were tons of girls. Between the second and third leg, tons of girls. So we had to have feisty girls running during that time. These girls showed us in practices all the time who could be that. They probably didn't even know we were looking for that. Okay? Another thing, 4x1 team, that state championship team, they bonded. We had to find 4 girls that knew each other very well, because handoffs were crucial in the 4x100. Hurdling, that was Mr. Simpson's specialty.
and I never interfered with that. These hurdlers had grueling drills that they had to do. And there were times when they wished they were just sprinters. But they held it together. The glow on their face when Mr. Simpson finally got them to three-step was phenomenal. And that desire to want to be a state champion in the shuttle hurdle relay, because we'd had that in the past in this school district. Didn't happen that year, but boy, did they perform. There's one girl, she's not here tonight either. She decided to give up cookies. She had been gaining some weight, and in order for her to lose weight, she thought, I'll just give up cookies. And I knew in the back of my mind the reason she probably gained weight was she walked everywhere and then got her driver's license. Then she was driving everywhere, okay, eating cookies probably. So at least she had in her mind that she was going to help the team so she could run faster 1,500 and 3,000 races if she just gave up cookies. It worked. It worked. As you can tell, I'm showing you how everybody on this team made this team possible. We had team bonding, braid bond and bonding time. They do constant braiding of hair. We had lots of puffy paint. Girls loved puffy paint t-shirts. And as I said in the beginning, we had a dream. As coaches, we had a dream. When the girls chose the state championship or the state track meet t-shirts, they wanted them yellow, right? They wanted to be seen at the state track meet. And they were going to pursue that dream. So they were the dream team. And they all signed it. Loved puffy paint. Lots of talks in the locker room, girls. Lots of endless talks. Lots of, hi, state champion, in the hallway to try to get you convinced that you could be a state champion. We as coaches had a dream. We needed to get these girls to pursue that dream. Congratulations, ladies. You pursued that dream and you made it happen. You deserve this honor to be in the inaugural Hall of Fame. Each one of you have a special place in my heart. And congratulations to Mr. Buns and Mr. Simpson. Without their expertise that you brought to this team, I could not have led this great group of girls to the state championship myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Our second inductee this evening is Coach Bill Kibbe. Coach Bill Kibbe spent 22 years in the Jefferson Scranton School District from 1988 to 2010, where he served as a teacher, athletic director, and coach. For all 22 years, he was the head football coach, leading the Rams to 10 playoff appearances, including playing in 2 semifinal games. Over his 47 years as a head coach, he amassed a 240, 177, and 2 career record. Bill Kibbe graduated from Loreville High School in 1957 and attended Iowa State, where he was a member of the famed Dirty 30 before transferring to Central College to complete his degree. From there, he served school districts in Baird, Johnston, and St. Edmund before coming to Jefferson in 1988 to start his 22-year tenure here. Coach Kibbe has received about every award possible during his distinguished football and track career, including being named Coach of the Year several times and coaching in the Iowa Shrine Bowl game. He currently ranks 11th on the all-time wins list for Iowa high school football coaches. He has received numerous awards, has been inducted into the Football Coaches Hall of Fame and the Iowa Athletic Directors Hall of Fame. But his biggest impact comes from the lives he touched as a teacher, coach, and community member. He is now retired and lives in Fort Dodge with his wife Mary, and they are parents of 4 children. Please welcome back to Jefferson and into the Hall of Fame, Coach Bill Kibbe.
I too would like to thank Mr. Gordon on the nomination here, and I was very shocked when I got the letter that I would be going into the Greene County Hall of Fame, because there are so many great people and athletes and coaches out there that have come through this school. And it was quite an honor for me to receive that letter. I would like to, I know they can't be here, but Bob Schmidt, my superintendent at that time, and Jerry Wall, my principal. I remember the day they came up to Fort Dodge, and it was a beautiful day, and they asked me if I'd be interested in coaching at Jefferson. And it was great, and I came down the next week or so, and it was really great, and I really enjoyed it, and really appreciate them asking me to come down. When I came, it wasn't because of me, but when I came, there were some good people here, like these 3 people that are sitting over here. Tricia Waugh I saw her playing basketball when I was at Fort Dodge, and she was always coming up and beating us, but she was always very, very good and talented. Christy Kinney, I came the next year and I saw her do the same thing and score points and get records that way. And Brent McClagan, who I at least had on my football team. And Brent was just a great athlete. He came as a baseball player and basketball player, but he really excelled in track and in football. And I just remember the time that we had a ball game here, and he had just run about 60, 70 yards on a touchdown, and another 67 on a touchdown, another one on a 67-yard touchdown, and he came out and told me he thought he was in a track meet. So anyway, it was really nice having him here, and the group that was down here, I will take some credit for, probably not very much, because Vicki Lautner and I coached them as freshmen, and they were undefeated. And so that was just a great year, and we really felt good about that also. It would be impossible to name all of the people that was here when I was here. All of the coaches, the volunteer coaches and the junior high coaches and just everybody, assistant coaches. But I would like to mention 3 people who were with me that whole time. John Turpin, who's not here tonight, but he was with me all the time that he was here, and Tom Powers was here, and Mark Sawhill was here, and the 3 of us and the 4 of us went through all of these years and had good teams, and we wouldn't have good teams if it wasn't for good players, and we had outstanding players. We had a lot of people that were named to all conference and all district and all state, and it was really great with the awards that they got during that time. And I know it's still going on now, because you really had great football the last 2 years here too. But we really appreciate what they did, and also the players were outstanding, and so we just had great people that were here at that time also. Today is my wife's birthday, and I forgot about it. So it's nice to have the little party for her tonight. But the party I really remember is the party that we had over at Harlan in the playoffs, and we were behind, or we were ahead by 6-0 with just a few minutes left in the game, but we had the ball back on third 3-yard line, and we didn't come out of there, and I knew we were going to have to punt, and then they're going to grab the ball and go down and score and beat us right at the end. But Matt Lautner got on third down, he got a play that ran him out to the 40-yard line, and we hung on and beat the clock, and it was a tremendous game. And afterwards, it took probably hours. They had to shut the lights off to get our team off the field and the players off the field. So that was probably the greatest thing I remember about that. But I'm glad that I got my son here, Kevin, and I got my 3 kids, Kathy, Kara, and Chris. They're all here tonight. They went to a lot of the games, and it was really great. And my grandkids, it was really great. After ball games here, they would come down on the field, and it was really great going off the field with them. So I want to thank them. I want to thank everybody, and especially the people of Jefferson Scranton and Peyton Sheridan on a tremendous loyalty and the fan base for the great support you gave us all that time. Thank you.
Coach, I've heard about that Harlan game once or twice. It's good to hear you talk about it, though. It meant something. Our third inductee is Tricia Waugh Pipkins. Tricia Waugh is a 1988 graduate of Jefferson Scranton High School and a 1991 graduate of the University of Iowa. During her time in Jefferson, she earned first-team All-State honors in both volleyball and basketball, and in 1988 was one of 40 high school players in the nation invited to be a part of the process for selecting the 1988 United States Olympic basketball team. She was also a 3-time conference high jump and 100-meter hurdle champion during her high school years. In 1988, she helped lead the Jeffettes to the school's first ever appearance in the state tournament, and they came home with a 3rd place finish. During that season, she averaged a whopping 45 points per game, 3rd best in the state during the 1987-88 season. She was named first-team All-State and 4th-team All-American. During her illustrious career on the hardwood, she averaged 49 points per game and shot 71% from the floor. Later, she was inducted into the Iowa Girls Athletic Union Hall of Fame. She continued her career at the University of Iowa, helping to lead the Hawkeyes to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments, including a Sweet 16 and 2 Big Ten Conference championships. She graduated from Iowa with a degree in journalism in 1991 and currently works for Nike as a senior director of merchandise planning. Tricia is married to her husband James, and they have a daughter Jaren and a son Trey. Please welcome Tricia Waugh Pipkins back to Jefferson and into the Greene County Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Todd, very much for that kind introduction. I don't know if you guys can hear me. There we go. And thank you as well for spearheading the creation of this Hall of Fame here at Greene County High School. A great honor to be recognized as part of the inaugural class, and certainly want to congratulate my fellow inductees, all very deserving, so congratulations to all. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of family here in support tonight. Todd mentioned my husband James is here, our son Trey, Our daughter Jaren is hard at work out on the East Coast, passed up a trip to Iowa in the middle of winter. I'm not sure what's going on there, but she's here in spirit. My brother Mike, my brother Jason, my sister Terry, also an honoree herself as part of the 1994 track team. Her husband Brad, my niece and nephew, Peyton and Jack, and my dad's wife Marcia. Very, very thankful to be able to share this night with all of you, so I appreciate your support. I also want to make sure I recognize some of my coaches that I saw earlier and who are here out in the audience. Coach Vanderwilt obviously enabled really all of the accomplishments that I had on the basketball court, and he managed to tolerate me on the softball field. Softball was not my strongest sport, but I had some fun out there. Coach Greene really introduced me to the sport of volleyball, and we had a lot of great success as a volleyball team, and really introduced me to a sport that I love almost as much as basketball. I have to say though, it was I think her 2-a-day August practices in the sweltering middle school gym that convinced me that maybe I should go to basketball. But appreciate Coach Greene and all she's done for me since I left school as well. And Coach Bennett, I saw him earlier. I don't think he stuck around for the commentary, but I know full well those crazy weather times in track, and he was very creative with ensuring we got our track practices in. I have many fond memories of racing up and down the hallways here in the school, over foam hurdles and out of rubber blocks. So appreciate and shout out to Coach Bennett as well. About a year ago, just under a year ago actually, I was here in Iowa, also on a stage, also giving a speech to friends and family. Some of you in this audience were there as well, at that time eulogizing my dad. And I'm reminded of him tonight because for me, there's really no memories here of this school that don't include him. He was my high school principal. He was principal for several of my siblings. He was principal really for, I thought I was going to get through it. I saw Terry, she started. No, he was principal here and supported every single one of the inductees here tonight. So I really view him as kind of an honorary inductee. I have to say, now that I have kids that were athletes, I very much appreciate how he raised me as an athlete and how he supported me as an athlete. Always present, but never pushy. Always let me take the lead, let me find my way and pursue the things that I was passionate about. And I'm sure he was an accomplished basketball player, obviously himself. So I'm sure it was hard for him to sit back, and I'm sure he saw lots of opportunities for things for me to do better and differently, and to opportunities I could have taken advantage of, and potential that he saw in me before I did. But he always stood back and let me take the lead and have the spotlight, but always there when I had a question or when he was always willing to share his skills and his passion and his knowledge about the game with me. And again, I was always very appreciative of that, more so as my own kids became athletes, and I really tried to emulate that style with my kids, although if you catch Trey out in the hallway later, he might tell you different, I don't know. James and I must have done something right because our kids are way more accomplished athletically than I ever was, so I will be looking forward to that call from Apple Valley High School in Minnesota for their Hall of Fame introduction. As everyone else said, really want to thank this community. I think the bond that this community has with the school and the sports programs here is really unique, and it's something that I remember most and appreciate about growing up here. As Chris was talking about, the reception that their team got as they came back from the state meet, the same. I remember about our state tournament run year, the incredible crowds that we got every single game all season long. Always outdrawing the boys, by the way. We always the caravan and the buses that came down to the state tournament, the messages of good luck on the storefronts and on the signs all around town, the packed gym, and the autograph lines when we got back from Des Moines after that tournament. So those are the things that I remember most about Jefferson and appreciate most about Jefferson. So thank you all very much for the support then, as well as for the honor now, and go Rams.
Our fourth inductee is Christy Kinney Hayes. Christy Kinney graduated from Jefferson Scranton High School in 1991 and from Drake University in 1995 with a pre-med degree. During her high school career, Christy was a multi-sport athlete and was recruited to compete at the collegiate level in 3 different sports. She played in the only two girls' state basketball tournaments in school history, teaming up with Tricia Waugh as a freshman and then leading the Jeffettes back to state in 1991, a year in which she also led the state in scoring, averaging 52 points per game, and was named first team All-State. During her high school career, she was also a state champion on the track as a member of the 1989 Shuttle Hurdle Relay State Championship team. Christy continued her career at Drake, where she was the Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year, scoring over 1,500 points in her career. During her senior season, Christy was named Honorable Mention All-American, First Team All-District, and led the Bulldogs to the NCAA tournament. After her graduation from Drake, she coached at the University of Southern Illinois, where she also received her master's degree. She then had coaching stops at the University of Iowa and the University of Oklahoma before deciding to leave the coaching ranks to focus on her family. She also has been inducted into the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Hall of Fame and currently spends her time working as a professional speaker, volunteering for her church and community, and attending many sporting events at many different levels. She is married to her husband Jonathan, and they have 4 children, Jackson, Jillian, Jewett, and Jonah. Please welcome Christy Kinney Hayes into the Greene County Athletic Hall of Fame.
I could pretty much ditto to what Tricia said, mic drop. Thank you, Todd, for creating this. This is really a great experience for me, and I'm very honored to be here amongst great athletes here. I would like to first thank God. I tell my kids all the time, God gives each of us gifts, and it's our gift back to Him to use those gifts to glorify Him. So look at me practicing what I preach. But no, thank you. God has really blessed me. I have one of the most incredible families. I'll start with my family. I did not allow my husband to come, and here's why. Last time he came, everybody asked him for his autograph, nobody asked me for mine. I told him, I was so mad. This is a true story. I tell him I was kidding, but it really was true. When we got back to my parents' house, I said, you know, the only reason they all were asking you for your autograph is they already had mine. True story. My son has a game, so he couldn't be here. My daughter has a big conference rivalry on Saturday. And I have a 7th and 8th grade son that couldn't make it either. But I have my unbelievable family here to celebrate with me. My siblings, Kyle, who most of you know, and makes up stories, so if he tells you anything I did wrong, it is totally a lie. And my sister, who has supported me and continues to support me whether I deserve it or not. Little story about her, she babysat, got up at 5 in the morning every morning to babysit. And when I was going through chemotherapy and was so sick and was up all night vomiting, she sat, pulled my hair out, combed my hair out, wiped my head, and then went to work at 5 in the morning without ever complaining. So my hero is Sam. and Reed. I can't tell any stories about Reed because I get thrown off stage, but he makes me laugh, and all my nieces and nephews, and my in-laws. I've got the best in-laws. I couldn't have handpicked better in-laws for each of my siblings. So Amanda, Megan, and Brian, thank you for loving my siblings. And thank you for my nieces and nephews who are here, and I love you, and I wish I could see you more often. A little something you may or may not know, my mom always had a video camera. They called her Video Vic. True story also, she did not actually like videotaping. She videotaped because I begged her to videotape, because my fondest sports memories were watching the game films with my mom and dad after the game. There's not one criticism, not even constructive criticism. We would rewind good plays or critical baskets, and they encouraged me, and I felt so loved in those moments watching game film that I want to go the next game and impress my dad even more, impress my mom even more, because it felt so good to see how impressed they were with me. So I try to do that back with my kids, I bite my tongue a lot, but that is truly the best parts of sports, were going home and enjoying those moments with my parents. And my dad, when we'd have the late night games. Dad, thank you for taking me out to the truck stop after a long day's work and sitting at my games, and we'd enjoy a meal at the truck stop on those late games and revisit the game and talk about that, so thank you. Now on paper, Jeremy is my cousin, but in my heart, you've always been my big brother. Looked out for me. I probably was more scared of him when I got to high school than my own parents, because he put me in my place. So thank you, Jeremy. And Aunt Moni is here. Aunt Moni is the aunt we all want to be. Sam and I have contests. We want to be the funnest. She is the best kid's aunt ever on the planet. And we are always having contests to see who can be the Aunt Moni of our generation. So Aunt Moni, thank you. Thank you. It would be very hard to thank everybody. So I'm going to say to the coaches that Tricia named, I agree with everything she said. You guys have formed me to be who I am, and encouraged me. And Vicki Lautner, is she here? Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, Vicki. And I'd like to thank you for pinching my butt in practice, because nobody else was guarding me, and so she would do everything that could possibly happen in the game. And I know that sounds bad, but she would pinch and kick and all that, which is everything I got in the game, so I was totally prepared for the game, so thank you. I don't think I appreciated it then, I appreciate it now, thank you. And I want to just share a couple stories. I won't get too long-winded about what it means to be from Greene County. Again, I remember the times going to state and all the signs up in the offices, in all the buildings and the stores and stuff, and the escorts, so I won't reiterate those. They were incredible. I remember, and Doug and I talked about this earlier, I was thanking people, and I wanted to thank Doug, and I didn't know what to call him, but our Doug, so he's our Doug. Thank you, our Doug. And I know you were talking to our Doug, because I'd forgotten I did some of those things, so I know you were talking to our Doug and got some of those stats from him. I'd like to do a game with you and my dad, and like a Family Feud, to see who could answer the question quicker, because you both have impressed me through the years with your numbers. Just a quick, I can't thank the community enough. One of the best things that ever happened to me, personally, is when Scranton and Jefferson merged. I was in the very first class that graduated all 4 years with Scranton. And without that merger, I would have missed out on a lot. And one of those is getting to see Dave Wright every day. Dave also kept me humble, but more importantly, he wrote me the best letters before every basketball game. Make me laugh, motivate me, and we're lifelong friends, and I just thank him for always supporting me, and didn't matter if I scored 0 or if I scored 50. He was always there cheering me on and really showed me what it means to be a true friend, so thank you, Dave. Thank you. I wish I could stay up here and tell stories all day, because maybe I will, because I haven't been in the spotlight for a while. Everybody else in my family has, so maybe I will just sit here and talk.
But seriously, it's been an honor. I ran track with some of you guys. I was in high school with all of these guys. But I gotta tell you just a few stories. One, first, and I told you it was coming, I would like to apologize to the Kern family. Where are you guys? Okay, right there, yeah. So I may or may not have been babysitting. And when they got home, the kids were still awake, Chris, but I was sleeping. Very soundly, Chris adds. And yeah, well, I don't know what it says about the rest of the community here because they did invite me back to babysit. So that was one. And then another time was my freshman year. There was an athletic director at St. Ed's. Very tricky athletic director, who we were playing St. Ed's at St. Ed's, and it was a huge conference rivalry. And somehow we get to the game, and the girls' and boys' games have been switched to draw a bigger home crowd for the girls' game. I don't know if you remember that, but I guess his philosophy was, you can't beat him, join him, because the next year he came with us. So it was a privilege. Bill Kibbe was the one who threw at the Hall of Fame, threw a reception for me there, and he's just been so supportive my entire life, not just my time here. Would you like to shout out to the Gales? Okay. I've got some nieces and nephews that go to St. Ed's now. But anyway, it has been a pleasure to live in a community like this where I have learned that you help neighbors and don't expect payment. That's really not a thing anywhere else. I've learned here that hard work is a way of life. And to be honest with you, if I could do it all over again, I would pick this community to live in. So thank you very much to the board. Thank you, Todd, for inducting me. Thank you for pushing me, Tricia. I really have a shout out. I would never be the player I am if you had not set the bar so high for me. I was a freshman holding on her coattails for dear life her senior year. And you really showed me what I wanted. I dreamt. The Sharman family took me to the state tournament when I was young. And I dreamt there that I wanted to go to the state tournament. And so my freshman year, I held on her coattails as tight as I could and got to the state tournament. And she set the bar so high, so high. She forced me to just really reach outside and do things I never thought I could do. And it's all because she had pushed me to be that and shown me what it's like to be an athlete and a good person and a good student. This girl was smart too. So Tricia, thank you very much for making me the person I am. Thank you. And thank you to the community for all of your support. Thank you very much.
Our final inductee. You didn't talk long, Christy, but my microphone shut off while you were talking. Our final inductee in the class of 2020 is Brent McClagan. Brent McClagan is a 1995 Jefferson Scranton graduate and a 2000 graduate of the University of Northern Iowa. Brent was a four-time track state champion, winning the 400 hurdles 3 consecutive years in 1993, 94, and 95. In 1994, he became, and still is, the only Iowa athlete to win the 400 hurdles and the 1600 at the same state meet. He still holds the 2A state meet record and is 6th all-time in the 400 hurdles with a time of 51.62. While in high school, he was also named first-team All-State as a football player after his junior and senior football seasons, being named to the elite All-State team after his senior year. He continued his career at UNI, where he earned all-conference honors 6 times, competing both indoors and outdoors for 3 years. Brent helped lead the Panthers to conference championships in 1998 and 2000. At the 2000 Drake Relays, he was a part of a 4x800 team that ran a time of 7:19.1, which is still a UNI track record. He was also a member of a first-place medley relay team at the 1997 Kansas Relays, and his personal best of 1:47.9 in the individual 800 is still one of the top 10 track times in UNI track history. He graduated from UNI with degrees in biology and business management and currently works as a medical sales representative for KLS Martin. He is married to his wife Melissa, and they have a son Jack and a daughter Amara. Please welcome back Brent McLagan to Greene County High School and into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
I don't know if you guys heard in Christy's description of her, a professional speaker. Now, it would have been nice to sneak me in before her. I didn't think I'd be part of this initial class. I didn't know Doug was on the committee. Now it makes a lot more sense. First and foremost, I want to say that it's such an honor to be in this initial class with these people. Christy and Tricia, we used to, as a middle schooler, we used to watch you guys play basketball. And it was essentially must-see TV in a gym, like we said earlier, for the whole town. The town was in this gym on Tuesday night and this gym on Friday night, and all the way to Des Moines. As younger kids, it wasn't just that you guys were good players. As I look back on it, it's the role models that you guys were. And that had a big effect on us as kids. To the 94 state track team, I had the pleasure of actually running right alongside you, sometimes literally in the hallways after 3 feet of snow. And you guys were phenomenal. To me, that team kind of had that rare combination of talent and hard work. To see them every single day in practice, competing with each other. No one was better than anybody else. And I'll tell you that a state team title is more fun than any title will ever win. So, congratulations. To Bill Kibbe, consistency is the word that I describe Bill with. Bill coached in different towns in many, many different eras and different multiple classes of kids. And he set the bar for all of those people. A lot of times in high school, you'll have a good class here or a down class here or a good class here. And it's very hard to maintain that consistency. And Bill did that. He did that with a consistent philosophy, a consistent attitude, and a consistent demeanor. From the time I was in 7th grade football all the way up until I was a senior, I knew exactly what Bill expected, and I knew exactly what was expected of me. To the coaches that I had, I was fortunate. We had great coaches. I want to thank them publicly right now, and I want to list all of the coaches that I had. Bill Kibbe, who I mentioned, Tom Powers, John Turpin, Mark Sawhill, John Rowland, Gary Stein, Dwayne McGee, Kevin Neal, Kelly Simpson, Tim Buns, John Charlstrom, and Tom Lane. Guys, that's a great list of coaches. I feel like a lot of people have 3 or 4 coaches who kind of affect their lives, and I just listed off 12. You guys had more impact on my life than you'll probably ever know, and I'm forever grateful for that. Thank you for the time that you guys invested in me, because I know, having kids, that it's a lot of time, and I appreciate the time that you guys all put into me. My parents. So, we were introduced at a young age to a lot of sports. When Doug Reeder's your stepdad, you go to a lot of games. My parents threw us in everything. We had every opportunity in all the extracurricular activities. We had 2 rules. If you went out for a sport, you had to put 100% effort into it, and you had to finish that season, and that's it. I didn't care how much we played. Those were the two rules. We've kind of taken that as our family. My wife Melissa, my daughter, or my son Jack, and my daughter Amara. Those are the only rules in our household, and they're in everything also. Thank you very much for all the opportunities that you guys provided me. As I said earlier, I'm fortunate. I've been very, very fortunate to grow up in this community where all the opportunities were available to us. Athletics, academics, band, all the extracurricular activities. And we weren't just invited to play, we were encouraged to play in everything. It's what we did. I was telling Josh and Benji earlier, we played football on Friday nights, and we marched in the Carol Band Days on Saturday morning. And that's just what everyone did. It was a great opportunity and a great experience. I'm fortunate to have great parents, great coaches, and great friends. I'm proud to be from Jefferson, I'm proud to be from Greene County, and I'm proud to be a Ram. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, and congratulations to the 94th State Track Team, Brent, Christy, Tricia, Coach Kibbe. Congratulations on being the inaugural class into the Athletic Hall of Fame. And if there's one thing that rang true tonight, it's the power and the beauty of community. And so thank you for coming out and continuing to support them. And as someone who's worked in several communities, I can tell you, and I knew this very early in my time here, this is one of the best. They have experienced great success in the past, as we see here tonight, and we will do it again. I totally and truly believe that. And we will continue to strive for that every day because of the bar that you have set. So thank you. Once a Ram, you will always be a Ram, even if it changes from Jefferson Scranton to Greene County. You will always be a Ram. We will always be proud of you, and we'll always work to make you proud of us. So thank you to the community for coming out. We appreciate it. This will end our Hall of Fame festivities, I'm afraid. If, for some reason, they happen to miss the forecast, we will do the induction again tomorrow. Christy's flying out. She's trying to get out of here. But if they happen to miss this, which I don't know that they will, but if they happen to miss this, we will do it tomorrow, so you can bring your plaques. But at this time, I'm going to let you take the plaques. Usually I collect them, but I'll let you take them in case we don't see you tomorrow. So for the rest of the night, if you want to take pictures up here in front of the backdrop, we'll move the microphones. Little Smokies are out there. If you don't take them, I'm going to have a whole plate of them tomorrow. So that's up to you. But thanks for coming, and again, congratulations, and thank you for being here.